For over a century, we thought we knew every inch of the Colorado River, yet a secret has remained buried for millennia, invisible until the worst drought in 1,200 years. In early 2026, a group of elite scientists launched Project Bedrock to scan the deep structures of the American West using the most advanced satellite technology ever created by mankind. What they uncovered using interferometric synthetic aperture radar has left the global scientific community in a state of absolute shock, forever changing our understanding of the arid Southwest region. Deep beneath the sculpted walls of the Grand Canyon, the scans revealed a massive, interconnected tunnel system that stretches for miles like a buried freeway carved by unknown geological forces. These enormous subterranean voids are not just empty spaces, as they appear to be lined with volcanic ash and rare minerals that should not exist in this specific crustal layer. Even more disturbing are the massive sinkhole caverns capable of swallowing entire skyscrapers, suggesting that the very ground beneath this vital artery is far more unstable than we once imagined. This silent artery of the West is no longer just a resource for irrigation and power. It has become a portal into a mysterious and potentially dangerous geological past. As the water levels continue to drop at an alarming rate, the Earth is beginning to whisper secrets that have been locked away since the time of the ancient ancestors. Scientists are now scrambling to understand if these collapses are remnants of a lost age or a ticking time bomb that could destroy the stability of the entire basin. We are diving deep into a world where the surface is just a mask for a complex, controlled, and deeply contested resource that spans 7 states and 2 nations. Get ready to witness the transformation of the American West as we reveal the first layer of a mystery that could redefine the future of human civilization in the desert. Something is waking up beneath the river, and the data suggests that our modern infrastructure might be sitting directly on top of a massive, ancient, and unstable rift. As Project Bedrock delved deeper into the data, researchers stumbled upon a discovery that defied every hydrological model currently used to manage the dwindling resources of the American Southwest. Locked within layers of impermeable shale, over 1,200 feet beneath the parched surface, lies a massive, isolated body of water that has not seen light for millennia. Based on complex isotope dating, this ancient aquifer may be over 15,000 years old, a liquid relic preserved perfectly from the peak of the last great ice age. This discovery finally explains the strange historical anomalies in the river flow, including sudden spikes and mysterious dips that were never linked to seasonal changes or man-made dam operations. However, this lost reservoir is not a simple solution to the drought, as the water is embedded deep within mineral-rich shale, making extraction a dangerous and highly controversial task. Beyond the water, sensors detected something far more volatile: pockets of methane and hydrogen sulfide gas trapped in sealed subterranean chambers, hinting at a hidden and dormant hydrothermal system. Thermal imaging surveys conducted in 2026 have revealed residual heat signatures, suggesting that these ancient volcanic vents may have gone dormant only recently in geological time. Some geologists now theorize that localized heating could resume at any moment, causing massive ground uplift or even explosive pressure releases that would devastate the surrounding infrastructure and cities. While some view this as a renewable energy goldmine for geothermal power, others see it as a ticking geological time bomb that could trigger unprecedented disasters across the West. Within the deep mineral veins, researchers also found unusually high concentrations of rare earth minerals, including neodymium, which are essential for the global transition to green technology. This discovery has ignited a fierce debate, pitting the desperate need for economic resources against the absolute necessity of preserving one of the most iconic landscapes on planet Earth. Deep drilling into these delicate ecosystems could release toxic byproducts or even destabilize the fragile sediment layers that hold the entire river basin together against the forces of nature. But perhaps the most mind-blowing find was not the minerals or the water, but the discovery of microbial life forms thriving in extreme conditions over 1,000 feet down. These extremophiles possess genetic adaptations not yet recorded in any biological database, offering profound clues about how life might exist on cold, distant worlds like Mars or Europa. The Colorado River is no longer just a body of water. It is a gateway to a hidden world that is far more dynamic and dangerous than we ever imagined possible. As we peel back the layers of the American West, we must ask ourselves if we are prepared for what happens when this sleeping geological giant finally decides to wake up. Researchers identified an unmapped fault line running parallel to the river, buried deep beneath the riverbed, which was previously dismissed as an inactive and safe zone for all infrastructure. The new satellite data from the mission revealed mysterious microquakes and intense upward pressure in the Earth's crust, suggesting that this massive fault might be waking up today. This Colorado Rift, as scientists are calling it, runs dangerously close to the Hoover Dam and the vital water infrastructure that supports millions of residents in Las Vegas. While not on the same scale as the San Andreas, we must ask if we have severely underestimated the seismic risk of this entire region for over 100 years. Could the drying of the river caused by climate change be reducing the immense pressure on the Earth's crust, allowing these ancient faults to move with renewed and violent force? Geological samples taken from the new fault area revealed something odd: traces of freshwater mollusk shells and fossilized algae embedded deep in rock layers once thought to be dry. This suggests that the Colorado Plateau may have once hosted a lush, interconnected wetland system, a prehistoric inland delta that has been missing from our modern maps for ages. These fossils show signs of rapid burial, likely from massive sediment flows or abrupt climate shifts that indicates ancient hydrological disasters once rewrote the entire geography of the West. If such disasters happened before, then we may be looking at evidence that nature is capable of resetting the landscape in a matter of days through sudden and catastrophic collapses. The data indicates that the ground has shifted by over 10 millimeters in certain zones, a movement that was never recorded during the last 50 years of monitoring. Every bridge, every pipe, and every dam was engineered based on outdated assumptions about tectonic stability, leaving our modern world vulnerable to a threat we never saw coming. As the crust continues to adjust to the loss of billions of tons of surface water, the risk of a major seismic event near the dams grows every single day. We are standing on the edge of a geological transformation that could reshape the Southwest, turning a drought crisis into a full-scale tectonic emergency for the entire nation. The question is no longer if the ground will move, but rather how much time we have left before the Colorado Rift finally reaches its breaking point. This unmapped danger represents a new chapter in our struggle to survive in the arid West, where the very foundation of our civilization is proving to be terrifyingly fragile. We must decide if we will continue to ignore the warnings from the deep or prepare for the day the Earth decides to take back what was once its own. When the data reached tribal historians from the Navajo Nation, they were not surprised, because their oral histories spoke of a time when the river disappeared beneath the parched earth. These ancient legends describe breathing rocks and underground rivers running backward, which now appear eerily consistent with the newly discovered features found deep within the cracked and parched riverbed. Researchers from the University of Utah have found that dark dust settling on snowpack accelerates melt, reducing the amount of water entering the river for 40 million people. Darker dust particles absorb more solar radiation than clean snow, increasing surface temperatures and causing the snowpack to melt as much as 3 to 4 weeks earlier than normal. This accelerated melt disrupts the delicate timing of water delivery to downstream reservoirs like Lake Mead, which are already under historic stress due to the prolonged and brutal drought. A study published recently indicates that the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains are experiencing renewed tectonic uplift, a geological process where portions of the Earth's crust rise over time. This region is now exhibiting measurable vertical movement, with annual uplift rates reaching several millimeters in some areas, driven by ongoing crustal deformation and deep mantle dynamics beneath. As the land rises, the river responds by incising deeper into the landscape, which accelerates erosion and increases the delivery of sediment downstream into the already stressed and filling reservoirs. New insights into native fish migration patterns show that the humpback chub depends on specific temperature thresholds that are now being disrupted by the rapid and unpredictable changes in flow. As water levels drop and temperatures rise, invasive species like the smallmouth bass are expanding into these warm waters, increasing the predation pressure on the endangered native fish. Our dams and pipelines were engineered based on outdated assumptions about tectonic stability, meaning that even a few millimeters of movement could lead to a catastrophic failure. Land management practices must now focus on stabilizing soil and reducing dust emissions to prevent the premature melting of the snowpack that fuels the survival of the American West. We are finally realizing that indigenous stories are not just cultural artifacts, but accurate geospatial records of long-forgotten floods and landslides that once completely changed the course of the river. These records warn us of ancient floods and abrupt climate shifts that could happen again, proving that the past is a dark mirror reflecting the dangers we currently face. The health of native fish reflects the broader state of the ecosystem, serving as a biological alarm for a river system that is reaching a point of no return for humanity. Understanding this tectonic behavior is vital for long-term planning, as the crust continues to rise and the water continues to vanish into the deep fissures hidden beneath. We are in a race against time to integrate this new data into our survival models before the next major geological shift reclaims the land we have built upon. Beyond the water and the faults, scientists stumbled upon unusually high concentrations of rare earth minerals, specifically neodymium and dysprosium, hidden deep beneath the riverbed near Glen Canyon. These minerals are essential for high-tech applications like electric vehicles and wind turbines, offering enormous economic value as the global demand for green technologies surges every year. These veins formed during ancient volcanic activity millions of years ago, long before the river carved the canyon, leaving us with a choice between modern materials and ancient beauty. However, extraction would require deep drilling into delicate ecosystems, potentially releasing toxic byproducts and destabilizing the very sediment layers that keep the entire basin from collapsing into chaos. To combat the damage, the government conducted high-flow experiments by releasing large volumes of water from the dam to restore sandbars and beaches along the parched Colorado River. These strategically timed floods mimic natural seasonal patterns, replenishing nesting habitats for endangered bird species while protecting ancient archaeological sites containing pottery shards and prehistoric remnants. The microbes found deep in the rock layers could redefine our search for extraterrestrial life, suggesting that the answers to the universe might be buried right under our feet. Right now, international research teams are flocking to the site as the Department of the Interior reassesses risk maps for the Hoover Dam and the entire Southwest. Satellite data is monitored every single hour for further ground shifts, while water management officials face impossible questions about whether to tap the ancient aquifer or reinforce infrastructure. Climate change is accelerating, and water levels are dropping, proving that the ground beneath the river is more unstable and more mysterious than anyone realized just a decade ago. This is no longer just about science. It is about the survival of 40 million people who depend on this vital artery for their daily lives and future. The Colorado River is still hiding secrets that could either solve the water crisis or trigger new dangers that we never saw coming in our wildest nightmares. What else lies beneath the surface? And what happens when nature decides to reveal its next surprise to a world that thinks it has mapped everything? The discovery of extremophiles deep in the crust has forced us to reconsider our place in the universe, while the river continues to flow over a ticking geological time bomb. International space agencies are now analyzing these biological samples to prepare for future missions to Europa, where similar high-pressure environments might harbor the very first signs of extraterrestrial life. As we stand at this crossroads, the decision to extract minerals or protect the water will define the legacy of our generation for the next 100 years of history. We are witnessing a moment where the Earth itself is speaking through the cracks, warning us that the stability we took for granted for 80 years is a fragile illusion. The Colorado River Basin is no longer just a map of water rights, but a complex living laboratory where the past and future are colliding in a series of shocking revelations. If the Colorado Rift continues to awaken, the infrastructure built during the last 50 years could face a challenge that no engineer or politician is truly prepared to handle today. We must listen to the whispers of the canyon walls and the data from the satellites because the desert is preparing to reveal a secret far greater than we imagined. What lies beneath the surface is not just rock and water, but a reminder that humanity is merely a guest on a planet that is constantly shifting and evolving beneath us. Stay curious as we continue to monitor the ground shifts and the mysterious signals emerging from the deep tunnels that stretch for 100 miles under the parched American West. The journey into the depths of the Colorado River has only just begun, and the next surprise from nature could rewrite the very laws of physics and biology as we know. Will we be the masters of this new world, or the victims of our own ignorance as the Earth prepares for its final and most dramatic transformation in human history? Look closely at the water, because the next time the river disappears, it might take the secrets of our entire civilization down into the dark abyss with it forever. This silent artery of the West remains the greatest mystery of our time, a bridge between the ancient ice age and the digital future of the human race on this planet. The clock is ticking for 40 million people, and the Earth is moving, so we must decide if we are brave enough to face the truth of the Colorado River.